Pushing and shoving between policemen and military officers at the gates of the office of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Issues of approved access into the premises of the electoral body causes tempers to flare among the security operatives. It appears to get worse as the area is tear gassed. The spokesman of the electoral body in the state finds space to speak up.
Now, the office is under siege by men in military uniform, army uniform, and uniforms of the Air Force and the police, who have taken over the INEC office, and they are stopping and screening people and clearing results before they enter the office, to the extent that up to now no collation has been done. So that's the situation now. We don't understand where the people are deployed from. We are not accusing the Nigerian Army or Air Force, but what we say is the people in the office here right now are wearing uniforms of the Army and the Air Force. So if they are not from them, we are calling on them to come and rectify the situation and allow our officers to enter with their results without molestation and harassment.
As collation appears to go on in the premises of the commission, some find the need to bring up the place of the card reader.
It is important we make this press conference here today so that the world will know what we are passing through. But let us all not forget that the INEC has said it repeatedly, that the use of the card reader was going to be paramount in this election. And so we call on the INEC to insist on those rules and ensure that results that do not comply with the provisions of the card readers should not be allowed to go in.
Meanwhile, INEC expresses concern over these reports and, quote, consequently, at a meeting held on the 10th of March 2019, the Commission has decided to suspend all electoral processes in the state until further notice. The Commission has set up a fact-finding committee to assess the situation and report back in 48 hours. End of quote. The police has promised to brief on the matter soon. For now, everyone is keeping a close watch at the development of events over what many have described as collation drama trending in Rivers. Emmanuel Ire, Channels Television News.
All right, so joining us to weigh in on this particular matter, we've got retired Colonel Stan Labo. He joins us this morning. Thank you for coming on today.
Thanks, I appreciate it, please.
And then in Abuja, we've got former Commissioner of Police for the FCT, Mr. Lawrence Alobi. Good morning, and thank you for joining us as well today on the.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, let me start here in Lagos. But this, I don't know whether to say, was it a surprise to you, or in terms of the conduct of security agencies? What's your impression of how this whole thing turned out before INEC had to come up with that press statement?
You mean the situation in Rivers or generally?
Rivers first. Rivers.
Rivers first.
Yes.
Frankly, Rivers is a big surprise to me. I must be frank with you, gentlemen.
Surprised or disappointed?
Both, I would say. Both. Disappointed in that I was expecting, from my own thinking, that probably Rivers, since we have problems with APC candidature, Rivers was just going to be a clean sweep. But, you know, I am not on ground. I never could say what the adds and minuses might add up to eventually. But with the developments we are hearing now in Rivers, I'm shocked, I'm surprised, I'm disappointed. What is happening? I mean, what is happening? Then looking at the military there, from the photographs I saw here and so on, if they are there to maybe protect lives and property, well, fine. But we should be very, very careful how we get the military involved in our politics. I've always said this even while while in service, okay? We should, as much as possible, try to see that we distance the military. When I mean the military, the armed forces, away from our politics and allow maybe the police to play its role. However, in situations where we feel, look, lives and property are at, risk here and so on, and there is a need to bring in the military to probably be on standby in case the police is overwhelmed. They come in immediately and be able to protect lives and property. Fine, I can understand we're deploying the military to some extent.
Under what circumstances do you think that should be necessary?
That's when the police is being overwhelmed. For instance, let's look at the river situation where we know within the river's environment we talk about militancy and so on. And you and I know that to an extent when these militants begin to operate, the police lacks the capacity at times to withstand them. Okay? And you need the military to be able to move in swiftly and give the necessary backup in the interest of lives and property. Fine. It's under such situations. We find the military.
But we seem to have had a little more than that, because from pictures, videos, some that cannot even be shown on air, just as you also expressed the risk. But what does this really say about the entire process? You know, the involvement of the military personnel, especially, as you said, the armed forces.
Depending on the role the military will be playing.
What role do you think the military has played so far?
So far, I expect, not what role do I think they have played so far, I'm not on ground, but if you ask me what do I expect the military to do, the role I expect the military to play in a situation, in an election as this is, one, avail its platforms to be able to enable the uplift of materials and INEC personnel across difficult terrains to the other side for use and so on, okay? Avail itself in a preparatory position to be able to moving swiftly in case the police is overwhelmed, and things like that. Such roles. Position itself at strategic locations outside the towns to be able to check movement of small arms, and things like that. Such roles. All in a bid to safeguard the process.
Did you see any of that in these elections?
I wouldn't say I didn't go around. I must be frank with you. But I expect that they must have been planted in to play such roles.
Because the governor is saying that deploying soldiers to confiscate the results will not change the victory already recorded by our party in Rivers State. And that was also corroborated by his spokesperson. So when the specific mention of deploying soldiers to confiscate results, it does seem to suggest that this is partisan role being played by the military. How do you respond to that?
Well, that is the version of the governor, of His Excellency, and his spokesman. I wish we could have the spokesman to give us.
Okay, but add this to your response. UK worries, says military interfered with elections in Rivers.
Yeah, I expect the international community to be disturbed, especially those who would want to really let us know they are our friends. They will be disturbed at some of these developments, and would want to urge us to please do the right thing or the needful to make sure that...
And when you say you wish the army was here, we wish that more because we've reached out to them several times, but the spokesperson has not. Maybe the schedule must have been hectic, so he hasn't responded yet. So several days now, we're hoping that maybe his schedule will be a little lighter at some point, such that Nigerians, I believe, would like to hear.
What of the spokesman of the division in Port Harcourt?
No, they can't leave Port Harcourt.
No, I'm not saying being here. We could always take them on Skype.
Yeah, we've reached out to, trust me, our producers are doing the job on that. So they've reached out several times.
Because it's important to have a balance.
If they refuse to talk, then the show must go on, as people say. Because, there's been several reports about people talking about the military's involvement in this. Look at the papers are washed with it. And then even yesterday, our reporters did tell us there was this clash between the military and the police. in Port Harcourt? And that raises question. But let me take it at this point down to Mr. Alobi, who is former Commissioner of Police in FCT. He joins us from our studios in Abuja. But Mr. Alobi, what's your impression of how the security agencies are playing their role in Rivers State for these elections?
Yeah, I think all along, I think they've been doing very well. But what really is shocking and embarrassing to all Nigerians is what happened at the collecting center in Port Harcourt. That is not expected at all. Like in all security operations, both the police and military, the main officers have been deployed, normally given rules of engagement and code of conduct. But what happened there, I think there was a breach of those rules. And again, before those who came there, those who moved in there, or embedded the collecting center, there were other officers and men who were deployed there to man the gate and to man the collecting center. Those who now came and took over, I think we really thank God that there wasn't a crossfire between the police and all those who were at the gate and those who invaded the center. That is just, I think they must have exercised some restraint. But I think it's not professional at all. I'm aware that the Army has directed, Chief Army has directed that the officers and men of the military who are deployed should not snowball with politicians, and they should play by the rules of the game and in line with the rules of engagement and the code of conduct. So I'm surprised to see what happened there. It's unprofessional, it's unethical, it's not in line with democratic norms and values, and also not in line with our professional standard. So I think it's actually not good enough. I'm sure the military High Command will look into that, and I think those involved will be sanctioned accordingly.
You know, when you say that all along that they had been doing very well, and then perhaps, as you say, if I understand you well, up until that point, but you know there are many who will also haven't seen several reports and images preceding this time when they have said that there are questions in terms of coordination of security agencies. So, and then they say that now, from that clash and previous reports, does suggest that yes, they're supposed to work together for election security purposes, but they don't think that the Army will report to the police or did report to the police, particularly in Rivers. What do you think of that?
You see, deployment is normally based on need. Like the Colonel did analyze earlier, you know, some communities in this country, they believe in the culture of violence, and they believe that violence is a legitimate means of achieving goals. And militancy is common in Port Harcourt, in the Niger Delta area. So that such military deployment may be necessary based on need. But then the police, the lead agency and the internal security, the police are also the principal agency. But Section 217 empowers the military to assist, to come in aid of the police. But when they come in aid of the police, there should be that collaborative relationship between the police and the military. And the police should maintain that leadership. That they should be taken in charge of the command to lead. Because the police, there's difference between policing and military operations. And you see, so when the military come on board to assist the police, they should try to adhere to the rules of engagement that have been given by the police, because they are the lead agency. And democracy will be threatened if the military are massively used to police elections. It's not proper at all. And I think such situation with the military overused in policing and law enforcement has serious consequences. One on the psychic of the people, and it also erodes public confidence in the military, and which is not too good too for the military. So I think the military should be used when the need arises, when it becomes extremely necessary to be used, like Rivers State, of course, like when there's very volatile areas that militancy, violence is like a subculture, and when they use sophisticated weapons and so forth, the military could be used, because when the police are overwhelmed, the military are there to ensure that internal security is guaranteed. In that case, there's no problem. But when they are now overused, like at the collection center, there was no threat there. I think collection was going on smoothly before what happened now happened. So I think the police should always be given empowered to take the lead. And that is, the police also should have started their position as lead agency. And that also is predicated on capacity. When the police are not given, we don't have the capacity, they have to assert themselves and say, we are the lead agency. But sometimes when they want to assert themselves, it leads to a clash. But maybe the police now, that what happened at that gate, if they had insisted, maybe there could have been some more devastating consequences, which couldn't have been good for the country and for our electoral process.
If I understand you, does it mean that at that point, Mr. Alubi, at that point at the gate, it came across as though the police or the military were not subjecting themselves to the police because they didn't want the police to come in to get access to the venue. So it appeared as though the military was the lead agency in that particular case as it came across here. Is that your point?
No, the police is lead agency. It is known. Under the law provides that, and on international standard, best practices, that is standard. Before the incident, the police officers and men were deployed, the other securities were deployed there, and there was no problem. Collision was going on until when they now invaded the place. In that case, the police only exercised restraint, because if they had not insisted, it could be overzealous, either military officer, police officer, they could probably, who are trigger happy, be start to present trigger, it could be very devastating. I think that the exercise restraint, I think it was better for us. And I think thereafter, investigation will carry out, and also that is implicated in the process. I think the appropriate authority will take necessary action against such officers.
Mr. Alobi, you did you made an observation saying that at the center there, the police was not overwhelmed in any way, and also outside there at the gates also, they seemed to have everything under control. There was no upheavals going in. And people are concerned, even raising questions, that is it probable that the military moved in to, in a way, disrupt the process and create chaos instead of being there to even assist the police in ensuring that things are even better than the police had it moving forward? But would you share that sentiment with anyone who thinks as such?
Yeah, the military ought to aid the police, assist the police, like provided under Section 217 of the Constitution, in aid of the civil authority. To be there to assist the police, to maintain law and order, ensure that enabling environment is provided, secure environment is provided for electorate to cast their vote, for elected officers and other those stakeholders who are participating in the elections to carry out the election peacefully without any threat or intimidation. But when that they came, this scenario itself is not expected at all in all standards, but in all law enforcement standard, policing standard, even now security architecture is not expected, because it's not supposed to be so. It's supposed to be that collaborative synergy between the police and other agencies. We're all serving the same country, the same government, all pursuing the same goal to ensure that law and order is being maintained, that the environment is secure for people to cast their vote, and elected officers carry their statutory functions. That's what it's supposed to be. So, but when there's that I don't know whether it's issue of ego or I don't know what happened. I can't explain until the matter is investigated.
All right, let's go to break. We'll come back and take a look at more. There's several reports, articles, press releases that we'll highlight in just a moment. Stay with us.